We're going to look at a couple of vintage old radios in this episode and get to try out my dim bulb tester where it actually does its job. Let's check out and see what was brought to me to have a quick look at and see whether they can be economically repaired. Let's check it out. This is an old Telefunken Opus radio, shortwave radio. This one also has FM, and from what I understand it doesn't work. So before plugging it in, we're going to pull the back off it and just do a visual inspection. It's the Opus 55, it's a hi-fi system. Features, there's a number of speakers inside this one. Let's just pop the back off it. Oh, already the screws are already out. I think that was a 1/4-inch drive, but it's actually a slotted screw. So yes, pop the back off. Got 5 speakers in here. So if we look at the back, you'll see there's a speaker over here, a tweeter, 2 woofers, and another little mid-range. This is not a stereo set, this is just mono. So all the speakers themselves are all wired in parallel with each other, it looks like. I think it's just a mono receiver. I only see one output transformer. It's got an antenna in the back that will turn around. You can turn it around here. There's a cord that moves this antenna. If we look here, that way you can tune your AM bar antenna for the best reception. This is how the unit came to me. There's no bottom cover on it. There's wires that are just... What the hell's been going on in here? This wire here has been... Look at this. Oh man. Oh man, this is just... Somebody's been in here cutting things, and I'll take a look at the wiring. So where the heck is this? This wire's been cut. This was just lying here. It's a wire that's been taped onto another one. What the hell has somebody done to this radio? See, I like restoring radios that haven't been tampered with. I don't see any of those paper caps that cause us all the problems that many of the old radios had in them. Look at this. These wires just kind of all just twisted up, and somebody's been doing a lot of work in this power supply wire that's going nowhere, wherever the heck that goes. This has just been taped up. Ah man, what did I get myself into? Let's plug this into the dim bulb tester and just see what happens. Houston, we have a problem. Yeah, I think that we have a bit of a short on the AC power plug. This could be a transformer. What the heck? That's just stuck inside. Yeah, like the last person that had it, they just stuck this inside the set. Stuck it up by the speakers. I don't know whether this one's gonna... I don't know if I want to get into this one. You know, we'll check to see where that short is, but geez, is this thing here at this point... I don't know whether I'm going to even bother with this, or I'm just going to tell the guy that owns it to collect it. There might be too much wrong with this. So this wire that's cut here, this is looks like it's coming right out of the transformer. What the hell has somebody done on this radio? There's this mess that's just wires that somebody has tacked on. It looks like somebody's wired a transformer directly. This is going to the voltage switch on the back, and if we look inside here on the voltage switch, you'll see that most of the terminals have been cut off. Like, what the hell has somebody been doing on this thing? Did they try a different transformer? I mean, this is just... I mean, we definitely have a dead short, so it's very likely that the transformer itself is shot. That's more than likely where our problem is, because as soon as I plug this into the dim bulb, it immediately comes on full. And we measure it, it's only got a few ohms. across the primary. It should be across the primary unless there's a short somewhere else. If I remove the fuse, the short goes away. But as I say, with the voltmeter here across the AC cord, we have 6.3 ohms. So that's essentially a dead short. Okay, boys and girls, rule number 1. You see that? What's that say? It says T4E 250 volts. So that's a 4 amp fuse that somebody has put into this unit. If we look on the back of the unit, fuse is 0.8 amps. So it's got a 4 amp fuse in it right now. The damage on this is probably catastrophic. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's the power transformer that's bad. You can almost see crap that's been bubbling up out of it when it shorted out. But at this stage of the game, I'm almost ready to wash my hands. When I accept stuff in for repair, I generally don't like to work on stuff that has been bodged by other people trying to make things work, trying to shoehorn in other parts and stuff. When you work on something that somebody else has been in modifying, and it's pretty obvious that somebody's been modifying this, you just don't know where to even start. But everything's pointing right now to the power transformer is probably shot on this one. We got a dead short, and on a radio like this, everything would go to the power transformer. All of your filament voltages and your high voltage and everything for the set is going to be derived from the transformer. So the fact that it has a dead short as soon as the unit is plugged in and turned on is a pretty good indicator that the transformer is where the fault is. As we can see, as soon as I try to turn it on, it's off now. As soon as I try to switch to any modes, that light lights up full. So we're drawing full power. Now wait, you're going to say, well, what about the amount of power that the unit draws? Well, the thing is, you see, the unit itself was rated for a 0.8 amp fuse. The amount of current you can draw through a 100 watt light bulb running at 120 volts is about 0.8 amps. That's the limit, going in series with a light bulb. So the radio should work just fine. It's not going to draw anywhere near that amount of current when it's running. But it's nothing, like the tubes aren't heating up or anything. I see nothing. I've got it plugged in now going through the current limiter, and nothing is happening. So what's happened right now, we've got a dead short. We're not getting any voltage whatsoever on any of the outputs of the transformer because the transformer itself is shorted. If it wasn't, we would see the filament starting to heat up. But we've got nothing. We look in here, look at this, there's other wires that have been spliced in here. That's just got tape around it. Oh, someone's put a diode in there. Yeah, what else is new? Let's just see if that diode's shorted. I'm sure that it's not, but we'll see. This is what I mean, you know, when I get into something like this, you don't know what someone's done to it. Yeah, diode's okay. This transformer, somebody may have replaced it. This might not even be the original one, but somebody certainly has done a lot of, you know, hack job on this radio. Yeah, the other diodes back here, someone took out probably the original selenium and just replaced it with a couple of diodes. There's another one back here. This one wasn't even taped down, it was just lying free. What the hell? Yeah, if you look down here, you can see the transformer. All the transformer shorted. Our power cord comes into the fuse here. One side of the fuse goes down to the power transformer, and the other side comes back and goes to the AC switch. So everything's going through the transformer. The transformer shorted. At this point, I'm going to get a hold of the guy that owns it and break the bad news. So I spoke to the owner of this one. At this point, we're going to not proceed any further. We're going to have to try to source a transformer. Whether that's going to be obtainable or not, that is to be seen. So I will move on to the next piece of equipment because he brought me a few units to look at. So let's move on to the next one. This is an old Grundig. We're going to look at the tuning mechanism with my borescope. Anyway, this one here, the radio tuning dial does not turn at all on it. I've got this one out in the garage at the back, and I can't get it in the shop. It's big. It's a big 4-size console. So I got the borescope into this one so I can inspect it and see why it's not turning. So I'm getting the camera in there because, again, this is a big console. You can see I can turn the tuning dial, but the string is not turning. And the reason why will become evident momentarily. We are going to see the problem here. You guys probably already are going to guess it. Anybody who's ever worked on an Akai reel-to-reel tape recorder will know exactly what the problem's going to be. You got it. It's that pot metal is broken. So there's a clutch on this unit here. The clutch is there. You can see the spring pushing up against the pressure plate. And that's there so that when you hit the end of the dial, it won't break the string. Right? It won't over tighten the string. If we look closely, I know it's hard to see, but let me get the camera positioned to the other side. You're going to see a big crack in the, it's like a pot metal. It's got a screw that secures it down to the shaft. And right where the screw is, it's cracked. And this is another one that I sent this one on its way as well, because to change that piece, well, first of all, finding one is going to be the tough part. One could probably be 3D printed, but to change that piece, you're looking at a hell of a lot of labor to take that all apart and change it. And whether the guy that owns it wants to put that kind of money into it, he may just gut the thing and use the cabinet and the speakers, or tune it to one radio station and just leave it there, because you can tune it by turning the tuning capacitors by hand. Well, you can see the whole metal. It's cracked all the way around now that I'm looking at it. It's cracked all the way around in multiple places. I'm surprised it hasn't actually fallen apart. But it's on the right side of the screen. I know it's hard to see. It's hard to get the inspection camera in there to see what I'm looking at. All right. If you're looking right down the middle of the screen, that clutch that I'm trying to get that wire out of the way to show you guys, it's a clutch that gets squeezed between the pressure plate and that piece in the middle. That's the one that's broken. You can see the cracks on it. See all the cracks? That I'm touching, that's what's broken. That's why it will not tune. And when I rotate it a bit, you will see a big crack. Well, you can see a bunch of them as it is now. It's crumbling, but it's made out of that type of pot metal that Akai used to use. Terrible stuff. There's the break right there. So on this one, there's not a heck of a lot I can do.
It's supposed to be secured down to the shaft,
other than to try to get a piece made. You're not going to pull one out of another old radio because they're all going to be in the same condition.
That's why the tuning shaft does to make this thing turn. This is to provide resistance so that when you get to the end of the dial, if you turned it too far, you didn't stretch the string. This is to provide resistance, but as you can see, what's happened is that metal is broken. That metal piece there is broken into. So that's another old Grundig. I think this is a Grundig. That's another Grundig here that we're going to have a hard time trying to find parts to try to make this thing work, because the metal it screws into is broken in two. I don't think there's much chance of fixing this one, so I might just walk away from this one as well.
That's it. I'm walking away. Thanks for watching.